I should have known the second those lime green Crocs stomped across my front lawn that peace in Cedar Ridge Estates was officially over. Evelyn Sharp, our self-appointed HOA queen, clutched her ever-present tablet like it was the 10 Commandments. She didn't bother with hello. She just planted herself in my driveway while I was power washing the sidewalk and barked, "Tyler Brooks, that floating eyesore of yours is in direct violation of Section 7.2, Article C of the Community Covenants. No recreational vehicles visible from the street. Period." I glanced at my 21-foot boat, Liberty Drift, parked neatly behind the side gate I'd built specifically to comply. You could barely see the antenna unless you were actively being a nosy nightmare, which Evelyn clearly was, binoculars probably involved. "It's screened off, Evelyn. You have to crane your neck from the road to even spot it," I replied, keeping my tone even. She sniffed, eyes narrowing. "The tip of the outboard is visible. That counts as in view. You've been warned twice. This is about maintaining standards for everyone." Standards. Right. The same standards that let her paint her shutters whatever shade of beige she wanted while fining Mrs. Alvarez $250 for having the wrong shade of terracotta on her flower pots. 2 days later, the $350 fine arrived in my mailbox, signed by Evelyn and her 2 spineless board puppets. Appeal denied in record time. That's when I decided to get creative. I spent that Saturday morning doing something beautiful. I legally registered the boat for street parking, perfectly allowed under city ordinance for up to 72 hours as long as it wasn't blocking anything. Then I towed Liberty Drift and parked it right in front of Evelyn Sharp's pristine McMansion, dead center in front of her perfectly manicured hedges and that ridiculous fountain she loved. She came bursting out in a pink floral robe and matching curlers, coffee mug trembling in her hand that read "Boss Lady." The look on her face when she saw my boat gleaming in the California sun was pure gold. "Tyler, what in God's name is this?" she shrieked. I slowly pulled the cover off like I was revealing a trophy. "Morning, Evelyn. Just following the rules. City code says any registered vehicle can park on public streets. Figured this was better than having it visible on my own property, right? Don't want to break any covenants." Her face turned a shade of purple usually reserved for eggplants. "Move it right now, or I'm calling the police." I shrugged, holding up my phone with the ordinance screenshot. "Go ahead. I've got all the paperwork. It's only for 72 hours. Perfectly legal." She slammed her door so hard her welcome sign rattled off the wall. I left the boat there. All 3 days. And then the next weekend. And the one after. By week 3, Evelyn had taken to gardening, in stony silence every Saturday morning, glaring daggers at Liberty Drift like it had personally insulted her bloodline. I'd just sit on a folding chair nearby, sipping coffee, adjusting the wheel chocks, making sure the registration sticker was crystal clear in the window. Not waving, not speaking, just complying. It wasn't really about the boat anymore. It was about reminding her that rules cut both ways. Then came Monday evening. I went out to rotate the tires and found a new pink envelope on the windshield. Not from the city. This one was HOA branded. $600 now for creating a public nuisance and diminishing property values. They even threatened a lien on my house. I photographed it, scanned it, and added it to my growing HOA nonsense file. 13 entries and counting. That night I walked over to see the Ramirez family 2 streets down. They were good people, retired, loved their rose garden. Over iced tea on their porch, Carlos showed me his own stack of fines. $400 for excessive solar lights on their back patio, perfectly legal under state law. Another for their hummingbird feeder, attracting pests. "She's been on a rampage since she got re-elected, with no actual vote," his wife Maria said. "Nobody wants the job because she scares everyone off." I nodded. Then maybe it's time someone made the job available again. Over the next 10 days, I quietly knocked on doors. Not campaigning, just listening. The stories poured out. The young couple fined $900 for painting their front door the wrong gray, even though it was pre-approved. The widow threatened with legal action over dandelions that didn't exist in the photos they provided, conveniently zoomed in at weird angles. Worse, board meetings happened in secret. No notices. No minutes published. All against their own bylaws. I called my buddy, who was a real estate attorney. He nearly laughed. Secret meetings? Selective enforcement? Threatening liens without due process? "Tyler, this is textbook abuse. File with the state attorney general and demand financials." So I did. Formal complaint with evidence packets for every affected neighbor, plus a formal request under HOA charter for full financial disclosure, due in 30 days. The explosion came fast. An emergency board meeting was called at the community center. First one in years. 35 residents showed up, many who'd never bothered before. Evelyn arrived late, flanked by her usual yes-men, looking like she'd swallowed a lemon. She took the podium with her fake concerned smile. "We hear your voices and want to assure the community that every decision has been made with the highest integrity for our shared standards." A cough from the back row broke the silence. I stood up. "When was the last actual election, Evelyn?" "Bylaws say every 2 years. She froze. "We postponed due to scheduling." "No membership vote on postponement as required," I said calmly, holding up highlighted copies. "And where's the financial report we requested?" "Deadline's Friday." The room started murmuring. Evelyn's smile cracked. "We're compiling." "I also filed with the Department of Consumer Affairs," I added loudly. "They're investigating improper fines and potential misuse of funds." That was the match. One board member, Greg, jumped up. "You told us it was all fine. I didn't approve half these fines." The other, Susan, looked ready to faint. "You said the paperwork was just formalities." Pandemonium. Someone started a recall petition right there. Signatures flew. Evelyn banged her gavel uselessly. 3 days later, she resigned for personal reasons. But it was too late. The state investigator arrived. Turns out thousands in fines had been diverted to a personal Venmo and a shady LLC consulting account under her sister's name. Fake invoices for landscaping that never happened. She had forged signatures to move money. Arrested for fraud and embezzlement. Her mugshot in lime green Crocs made the local news. We formed a new board. I didn't run for president. Carlos Ramirez did, with Maria on communications. I took compliance, making sure rules were applied fairly or not at all. We audited everything. Recovered over $18,000 through insurance bonds. Refunds went out with apology letters and full transparency reports. The neighborhood changed overnight. People painted their houses fun colors. Kids played street hockey without fear of citations. Block parties returned. Liberty Drift now sits proudly in a proper permitted carport I built in the back. But every few months, when the weather's perfect, I hook it up and park it in front of the community center for exactly 72 hours, right beside the new sign that reads Cedar Ridge HOA, by the residents for the residents. Just as a reminder, the house Evelyn once lorded over sat empty for months. Foreclosure eventually. New family moved in, nice folks with a labradoodle who leaves chalk art on the sidewalks. No one finds them, because we finally remembered what community actually means. True or false? The HOA president was simply upholding community standards, or was she the one who truly abused her power and got the karma she so richly deserved? Drop your verdict below.